In shotgun, two wides to the right. Brandon Hayes is in the backfield, and this is going to be low again. He's got some running room to operate, has the first down. Scott Harmon, he is going to take it to the house as he dives to the pylon. Kyle Lowe on the quarterback keep, 26 yards out, and the Lions extend the lead 20-10 with an extra point on the way.
All right, welcome to this edition of the Southeastern Sports Network podcast. Robbie Rhodes along with Mark Willoughby, talking all things Lions. This is our fourth week coming up here. We did the pregame. We did the one after Louisiana Tech. The one after, this week the third, leading up. We did some preseason ones, but happy to have you with us here, Mark, as we're diving into the third week of the college football season and the home opener at Strawberry Stadium as the Lions are welcome in the Delta Devils of Mississippi Valley State, and had a big win this past weekend against the Murray State Racers in Murray, Kentucky. Kind of a dominating game. We'll talk about that here in just a few minutes. We'll preview Mississippi Valley State coming up here towards the end of this little segment as we go along. Mark, Hall of Fame week this week coming up. A couple Lion football players going in to the Hall of Fame this year. Amongst them, many other former Great Lion athletes. And I know you want to talk about some of them and their accomplishments leading into the events on Saturday, and then Friday night having the awards banquet here on campus as well.
Yeah, great time. Always Hall of Fame coming up this weekend. The inductions, the official inductions, also the Hall of Fame banquet has been moved to the Friday night before the Hall of Fame game. So I think that's a special situation that, I credit J.R. Teagues for bringing the banquet about. They have the new gold jackets that the Hall of Fame members get, and they do it upright in the ballroom here at Southeastern. And looking forward to having some Lion greats in the house. Mac Boatner, former Lion running back, has the all-time single game rushing record here at Southeastern. Also, Keelan Hubert, who was an All-American here back in 2012 and 13. And of course, Edward Notturf, one of the best hitters ever played at Southeastern in baseball. Hope Sabadash, maybe the greatest soccer player in Southeastern history. Courtney Donald, Sweeney in volleyball, and also Sarah Williams, who long overdue being inducted to the Southeastern Hall of Fame, one of the all-time greatest women's basketball players here, who helped lead Southeastern to a national championship in 1977, finally being inducted to the Southeastern Hall of Fame. So credit those athletes. Looking forward to having them back on campus. Mississippi Valley coming to town. It'll be the third all-time meeting in that ball game. And, of course, we'll talk about the Murray State. Good win last week over a better than I think people realize Murray State program, who's had a tough recent stretch. But Lions played well last Saturday night.
Yeah, and you heard Coach Selfo talk about it on Monday when he visited with the media, and I sat in for Alan this last night.
Great job, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. Just talked about how impressive the team was, and he could tell that team is on the uptick. And he said they're going to, and I didn't know this, you might have known this, Mark, but he said they're really getting their funding correct up there for football. They're putting money into, they're a mid-major power in basketball, men's basketball. Obviously, you saw what their baseball team did this year, getting to Omaha, which was pretty special. And they want to invest in the football program, and they're getting in the toughest league in the country now, in the Missouri Valley. And look, Mark, they're going to take their lumps in that league this year for sure. But if they're investing and they're trying to promote and build their program, they're going to be a team that is, if they do it right, eventually be trying to get in the mix in the Missouri Valley and trying to emerge as possibly a playoff team at the end of the season. So in a good league, and the quarterback, Coach Selfo, was very impressed by. I thought their offense was very impressive in the game. They just kept coming, making plays. I thought they were very well coached. I thought you watched the game, it seemed like, boy, that this is a second-year head coach. You can tell they seem like they probably have a good one with him, and if they can keep him around, keep giving him the resources to continue to grow the program. But you just felt like his staff and the team, or him and his staff, got that team in a great position to play that game from a preparation standpoint and how they coached the game. And I thought the Lions coaching staff did a great job as well with the game plan and the efficiency of how they ran the game. And the Lion players just executed, and the Lions just a better roster and a deeper team, and that's why they ended up winning this game by 21 points. So Yeah, good one. Good, get your first win. And look, if you were disappointed coming out of the Tech game, not that you lost, but just that how it went down. Not a team you didn't feel like was that good offensively. You saw firsthand how good their defense really is, the way they played LSU and Baton Rouge this past Saturday night. So the Lion offensive struggles, not surprising on how good that Tech team was defensively. But if you watched our game, you do feel like, man, we should have probably scored at least a touchdown or 10 points or 14 against them, and the game should have been a little different. But at the end of the day, with all that being said, you basically just flush it all, and you have these two games here in the non-conference. And if you can find a way to get to 2-2 going into conference play with the home opener against UTRGV, you're in a really good position for having a good season and making a postseason run, Mark.
Well, that's a lot to talk about here, but I don't want to spend a lot of time on Tech. But again, that was a combination of they're very good on defense. Southeastern just trying to work in some new quarterbacks and a lot of different wrinkles, and just you get shut out. Really, not because they shut you out. You kind of had
you shut yourself out.
You kind of shut yourself out, but against a good team, and you saw that with how they played LSU. But the following week, you want to see that improvement from week 1 to week 2. We definitely saw that, no question about it.
Yeah.
Murray State is a team that's not going to win a lot of games this year, but as you mentioned, as Coach Selfo talked about, this is a team that has got a chance to bite somebody as this schedule plays out when they get in the Missouri Valley. Now, they're probably not going to be able to stand toe-to-toe in the trenches with the top of that league, but their offensive skill, I thought, was much better than Louisiana Tech. Their quarterback and wide receivers, running backs, their whole skill group operationally, I thought was much better. They were good enough on the offensive line. They're going to move the football and score some points with their young quarterback eventually. They're not a juggernaut by any stretch, but you can see there's a lot of wheels turning in their attack offensively. I think they do a good job with what they have, and they put the Lions to the test because I thought, honestly, Southeastern played well. You give up 24 points, and of course you gave up 17 offensive points to Louisiana Tech. But that was a better offensive football team we saw last Saturday night, in my opinion. And they just had an answer, it seemed like, for whatever Southeastern tried to throw at them. Now, I felt like we were fairly vanilla, and that may have been by design, especially not knowing what you're going to get going in. But defensively, they're probably lacking some talent. Murray State on defense, but they had a good plan as well. Although Southeastern stepped up and executed. You ran the football well. I thought both quarterbacks played well, minus a couple of turnovers. Our receivers, for the most part, caught the football. Backs ran hard. Offensive line was really good. And I thought Anthony Selfo may have called one of his best games. I thought he was on point, mixing it up, had a plan, and did a great job. And you're seeing growth there. And I think as this team and the staff grow together, I think this football team is going to continue to ramp up. Went out to practice today. Probably one of the better in-season practices I've seen in a long time. This team's confident. They've got some juice, some energy. You may get DeAndre Jackson back, hopefully this week. He looks healthy, bouncing around practice. You're starting to see the weapons fall into place, the defense. You got it all, and you got leaders on this team. So a lot of energy in this program right now, and you can tell the coaching staff senses that. So this has got a chance to be a really good Southeastern football team.
I think you got a chance here, Mark, to kind of get your legs under you. And what I mean by that is, you had 2 road games to start the season. And, Louisiana Tech, Ruston's probably on a bus is probably more like a 4.5-hour ride, maybe 5 from Hammond to Ruston. So not a very difficult trip, right? But, and not going through a major city where traffic gets you. It's pretty much a straight shot to Ruston from Hammond. What I mean by that is just that, the game was for 6:30 at night. Team gets home late, has to turn back around basically 3.5 days later, and they're back on the bus on an 8-hour bus ride. They stop in Memphis. You play. Coach Selfo said the team got back home at 7 a.m. on Sunday morning. So you kind of got through. So, what I mean by that is, like, those were not the easiest of trips, more so because they are both night games, right? And you're getting home and you're basically riding through the night. It's hard to get yourself juiced and going for Sunday, for the coaches, for the players. So you kind of get that behind you now. You're 1-1, and now you got a home game against Mississippi Valley. You got a game at LSU where the guys can sleep in their own beds Friday night. It's a 30-minute bus ride or 45-minute bus ride to Baton Rouge to play in that game. You play the game. You hope you get out of there injury-free, see what happens, and you turn around and you're back at Hammond before midnight on Saturday night. Then you're back at home against UTRGV. So you kind of have this headwind about you about like, hey, we kind of get our legs under us a little bit, a little more laid back in terms of travel and getting some home games. And if you can find a way to, win 2 of these next 3, you're set up for a great win at McNeese. We don't want to jump ahead, but just kind of looking down the road here, it's good that you got through these 2 tough road trips. Now you have 2 of the next 3 at home, and the road game's basically a day trip in your own backyard. If that makes sense.
You said it. You don't want to look ahead if you're the team and the staff. I don't think they will. You got to stay focused in a moment because you're going to play a Valley team that is a little bit Jekyll and Hyde. They nearly beat Southern to open the season, and we're going to talk more about them toward the end. But went on the road, got smashed at Tarleton. That can happen. Tarleton's a team that if they get it rolling on you,
hard to stop.
Good luck, right? So, and they're ranked in the top 4 in the country, but they do have athletes, and they've got some traditionally have. They're well coached, new staff, Terrell Buckley. So you don't want to overlook those guys. You don't want to play sloppy. I think that's the thing. And really, the last 2 times, of course, it's been 20 years since Southeastern's played them, but 2 tough ball games. The last time these 2 teams hooked up, now it was a totally different eras, but you don't want to overlook that ball game. But again, you got a lot to build off coming off of Murray State, and we'll talk about that. Let's recap that ball game. Again, we talked about how well Southeastern played offensively. I thought again both quarterbacks played well, ran the ball defensively. Defensive lines playing off lights out. I mean, those guys are outstanding.
Big turnovers in the game, which led to line points, and I think the team feels efficient, and I think they feel confident in what they're doing, what the coaches want them to do, and they're executing at a very high level. And so that's an exciting thing for this staff, and for both coordinators to be able to feel like you can do anything, you can call anything you want because you feel like your team has a good pulse on what you want to do from a game plan perspective on offense and defense. So basically, the playbook's wide open for both sides of the ball, and so that they're going to be, but they're going to continue to work these quarterbacks in, who, as you mentioned, are going to get better because, as Coach Selfo talked about before the season, and you said it as well, Mark, they hadn't played a lot of football in the last couple of years. So every rep, every practice rep, every game rep, every situation they see themselves in, they're going to continue to get fresher and fresher and better as the season goes on.
Well, the one thing I want to iterate to our fan base is that there was a lot of consternation coming out of the Tech game because you got shut out, and hey, can you play 2 quarterbacks? Yada yada yada. I get it, but last Saturday we saw why. Frank Selfo wants to play both of these quarterbacks, and both of them deserve to play. I do think there is a clear difference. I know, he says that the playbook doesn't change, and it probably doesn't, but again, it does. Carson Camp really shows the ability to sit in a pocket, survey, and distribute the ball downfield, and he really did a good job of that the other night. Had the one mistake where he tried to force the ball in, got a little gunslinger in him, and that's something they're going to have to get hemmed up a little bit with him. But Kyle Lowe can run a football. This guy's a magician. The touchdown, the long touchdown that he had, where it was very well defended. Murray State had somebody on the quarterback and the pitch man. He sticks his foot in the ground, cuts it back inside, and just weaved his way. And again, Murray State's not a great defensive football team by any stretch and struggle against the run, but you still have to have the instincts to maneuver and get a touchdown out of that. So that's a weapon Southeastern hasn't had at the quarterback position since Cephas Johnson. This kid can really do things with his legs. It's going to give defensive coordinators fits. And then you got Camp, who can do a little bit of both and really throw the football. And then, of course, Lowe can throw it as well. And then, of course, you're starting to see some receivers emerge. Still a couple of drops, I think, that were a little bit disappointing. Jalen DiMaggio had a drop or two, and Lonnie Shen is going to be a really good, outstanding tight end. Had a drop, would have been a touchdown, but he had a couple of big catches. His first 2 catches as a Lion, but you saw Tristan Goodley get involved. Prejean. Again, there's just a lot of different pieces on this offense for Anthony Selfo. Cade Collier got involved, his first touchdown of the year for Southeastern. You got a veteran offensive line they can just continue to roll guys in. And kind of what I was going to say earlier, which I know obviously Coach Selfo's talked about and the coaching staff has to love, is you've got the perfect blend of veterans, guys who've been here, leaders on both defense and offense. Your Caleb Proctors, Ian Connerly Goodleys, KK Reno's on defense, and many more. They're not the only ones. And then you've got a veteran offensive line that are all leaders. And so what happens is you got younger players coming up who are very talented. They're able to lead those guys. So now you're starting to develop depth. And when you go to practice, and I'm telling you, you go through a grueling fall camp, you have a tough first ball game, and then you come out and in practice, they love to practice. That is obvious when you watch it. You know you got a special group. And so I don't know how many games this team's going to win, but they're not going to be fun to play.
No, and Coach Selfo's teams have always played hard and competitive, and you can make an argument. You know, they've played some of their best football in the back end of the season. You go back to their playoff runs, 19 especially. They played the last 5 games. So impressive to get to 8-4 and get in the playoffs. And you know, it was a special thing to see last year on how well this team played in the back end to give himself any kind of chance to be in the discussion for the playoffs, because they played a lot of close games, had some comebacks, had some final second wins, and that's testament to the staff and, you know, what they're trying to do. And I think you're going to see that come to fruition again this season. You know, the back end of this season is a tough schedule, so you're going to have to play good football. But this team has always done that under Coach Selfo since he's been here.
And I got one quick point to make on that. I know a lot of people were saying, why did Southeastern score that last touchdown? They had the football, could have ran the clock out. I know the jokes are, you know, the spread and all that. But the bottom line is Frank Selfo knows how this committee works. And there's a big difference between beating Murray State 38-24 and 45-24, especially when East Tennessee State just hung 45 on them the week before. East Tennessee State's a team that, very similar to Southeastern, 7-5 last year, didn't make the playoffs. A lot of transfers in. They're kind of, you know, everybody's looking at East Tennessee State and that SoCon this year. And you want to have that on your resume. So when you look back and you start comparing scores, especially when they go through the Missouri Valley, that score is a big deal. So you hate to run up a score, but that's just kind of what the hand you're dealt. And I think that had a lot to do with it. And so it just shows you the mindset that this coaching staff has. They're going for it. And they're not going to leave anything to chance. And when they get a chance to rip you, they're going to rip you. And it's just the way it is. And it's a violent game, and nobody's going to feel sorry for anybody. So you got to go out there and put the pedal down and try to win every game as impressively as you can.
Lions win 45-24 against the Murray State Racers. And then turning their attention to the home opener this week at Strawberry Stadium, Mark. Mississippi Valley State, a member of the Southwest Athletic Conference, as you said, lost in a pretty close game to Southern University in week 1, got blown out by Tarleton. They come here to Hammond, trying to get their first win under a first-year head coach, Terrell Buckley. They're going to be scrappy. They're going to be tough. They're going to have some really good players in certain positions that could give you a difficult time if you're the Lions. But look, if you're Coach Selfo and his team, you just got to go out there and take care of your business, not try to do anything that you wouldn't do or try to do somebody else's job. Do your job and do it efficiently. And if you go out there and you play hard and you don't take this lightly, you should win this game, I feel like, pretty decisively. And that's what they want to do for the home opener. Like I said, building into the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they'll be favored, and probably favored by a lot in this football game. But again, you can't sell Valley short athletically. They got a young man, Joshua Brown, the quarterback, who could throw the football, and he's also good with his wheels. Rushed for almost 100 yards against Southern. So somebody's going to have to hem up. And again, you just want to avoid sloppiness. You want to avoid going out there. Hey, let's put it like this. I don't care who you are, how much you're favored by, whether you're a Power 5 football program, the top FCS, whatever it is, no matter what, there's a process to playing football that you have to go through. That's why Nick Saban's teams are so great. That's why he's won so many championships, the Belichick years in the NFL with the Patriots, because they're process oriented. So if you stay process oriented, you don't care about who your opponent is. It's about winning each play and not playing to the scoreboard. So if he can get that focus to his team, which he seems like he is starting to do, then it's not going to matter. But again, you can't get distracted. Hey, yeah, we're just going to roll out here and win. Because that's when the sloppiness happens, injuries happen, turnovers, and you look up and you slog through a game that you should have dominated handily. So I think this team's going to be fine.
First look for the fans this week at what will be the new end zone facility for football. Nothing's there yet, but the stadium has been brought back in on the south side of the stadium. The old scoreboard is totally gone. They're going to bring in a portable one for the north end zone, I believe, for this week and for the home games. But you can see the earth's been kind of flat. They got some bulldozers, earth movers over there. It'll be sitting out there, I'm sure, from the work during the week. And so it'll give fans a little bit of a glimpse in terms of what they should expect in terms of kind of how this is going to come out into the stadium, and might be able to even get a better visual on what it's going to look like when it's done. So that'll be exciting for fans to be able to check that out this week and kind of see. And, when you remember what it's going to look like this Saturday against Valley from a visual perspective, you're going to see a lot of progress for the final home game of the regular season when we play the Colonels in November. You're going to see a transformation over the next 2 months, really, of what this thing is going to look like as they start to build it. So that'll be a cool thing for fans to see this weekend on kind of what the department and the university is doing to improve football. Yeah,
there's a lot of, I've had a chance to kind of be out there, not every day, but a lot for camp. And then obviously I was out there today, and they had to go down deeper than they thought. So they'd bring in a lot of red dirt, the hard clay to compact it. They've done all the drainage. They've gotten all that stuff in, it seems like, and should be starting to dry pilings. Or I don't know anything about construction, but all the stuff they have to do. And then at that point, you start soon, hopefully, you'll start seeing a slab go down and stuff going up, steel and whatever. And that's going to be exciting. As soon as you see something vertical, that's when it's real.
Yep.
But the new scoreboard, I think they're bringing, not the new scoreboard, but the temporary. I think they're bringing in maybe Thursday. I thought I was told today, and not sure where it's going to go exactly or how big it's going to be or whatever. I think it's going to be functional, probably bare bones video and stuff, but it'll be something and a sign of progress. So it just got to be patient. It's going to really tie in that south end and make this more of a true Division I atmosphere. It already is, but as far as just the aesthetics, around the stadium, and of course, obviously, the players are going to love it because you're going to have new digs.
No doubt. Well, Lions and the Delta Devils this Saturday, 6:02 kickoff in Strawberry Stadium. Get out there, support the Lions, be there in person, tailgate, enjoy Friendship Circle. If you're out of state, not being able to get to the game, you can always listen to us on the network or watch on ESPN Plus. So excited to get back in Strawberry Stadium this weekend, Mark. Excited to work with you guys and see this. I haven't been able to see the team in person this year, doing what I do now. So I'm excited to see them in person playing a game that's coming Saturday, as it will for many of the fans.
Yes, and do not forget, we talk about it every week, the lineup collective, very important. It's taken off, I'm hearing. I think folks are responding to our call. To help with the program, and we're starting to see some momentum building. So you want to help that momentum continue to build, do your part. Log on the Lineup Collective or call the athletic department, find out how you can donate. And it's not just football, it's all sports. You can donate to your favorite program, but obviously football with so many scholarships needs a lot of help, and it will make an impact. And all it takes is to get you not lose a few guys and maybe go out and land a piece or two. And so Of course, winning helps, and success on the field helps, and I think that helps breed it. But lineupcollective.com, do your part. Don't be a zero.
That's it. Lineup Collective. You can find all the information out on lionsports.net.
And like, share, and subscribe this video. If you like what you see,
please share.
Yep, share.
Like and subscribe, and get alerts if you want to know when we get something new out there content-wise. It'll also be on our Twitter, the Southeastern Sports Network Twitter page as well, at Lineup Network. So, Mark, great job. We'll talk to you this Saturday. Lions Delta Devils, 6:02 in Strawberry Stadium. Can't wait to get out there and check it out. We'll talk to you next week as we hopefully talk about a Delta State win, but a Mississippi Valley State win, and preview the LSU Tigers in Week 4. So for Mark Willoughby, Robbie Rhodes, this has been the Southeast Sport Network podcast. We'll talk to you next week. Have a great one. Line up, guys.
Line up.